Excellent. And so since we're on the topic of GRW, that is one of our most popular drops. I think I heard somewhere that it actually is purchased like 7 times more than any of our other drops. You know, it's for immunity. It's an award-winning product. Can you share a little bit about your research into this product, GRW?
Oh, yeah. This will take about 10 minutes if that's okay. I'm going to run really fast through each one. Okay, because this can really, as you know, the book is much more detailed, and I address all of what all the research in the world has found and compiled it all into one thick book, right? And so yeah, it's a good reference source. But here it is, just to summarize, and like I said before, it's just the tip of the iceberg. So in the GRW, we have the aloe vera leaf, okay? And this has been shown to activate the body's detoxification systems, like the lymph system, the kidneys, the bowels, the skin, and the lungs. Those are the 5 detox organs in the body. So everything you put in your body is going to eliminate what doesn't belong there through one of these systems. Aloe also has been shown to remove pollutants and toxins like pesticide residues, synthetic chemicals from personal care products, household cleaners, environmental pollutants, and even chemicals in the workplace. Some people are exposed to toxic chemicals. Let's see, antifungal, antibacterial. It clears out the blood vessels and improves circulation. So anytime you've got improved circulation, you're circulating all those toxins out of the body as soon as possible. And it's also does other things like, ulcers and burns and skin disorders, and lubricates the joints, normalizes blood sugar. But yeah, that's just, let's focus on what GRW was formulated for. Then you've got the ashwagandha root. It strengthens the immune system. It increases the body's resistance to infections. So it mobilizes those immune forces, and it helps them recognize what's not supposed to be in the body. And then it also is decreasing sensitivity to stress. So you've got all these biochemicals that help the body stabilize its biochemical equilibrium, or homeostasis. And so your body's able to handle stress better, and it's not going to produce those stress chemicals that are so debilitating. It's been known to increase stamina and the nervous system and cognitive function of the brain. And that's just, I can go a lot deeper on that, but the ashwagandha is one of the superfoods, definitely. Then we've got the astragalus root, and that's a good anti-inflammatory. It actually inhibits that infamous COX-2 and ROS enzymes that when the immune system doesn't recognize something, or when the immune system does not know when to stop releasing these inflammatory enzymes. So that's a problem when someone has a chronic inflammation problem. It's part of the problem is the immune system. So astragalus is good for attenuating that reaction. And then you've got things like ensuring the proper cell replication, reproduction, correcting the transcription of the genetic code from one cell to another before it destroys the old cell. So that transcription is so critical to your health. If you're going to replicate unhealthy cells, then you're not going to experience an improvement in your health. So this is one of the things that the astragalus root does. And also, let's see, it maintains intestinal tissue linings. It forms a protective barrier against like chemicals, like physical injuries and infectious microbial organisms. So it helps protect things that go on in the tissue lines in the bowel. Okay, so astragalus also helps prevent the severe side effects of chemotherapy, liver damage. I mean, these are all scientific studies that have been done repeatedly over time. And this is why when I wrote the book, I noticed that there has been so many peer-reviewed studies that put many studies together over time. So that's why I was really, really confident in relaying this information in the book, because you don't just rely on one study. They could be wrong. They could be incomplete. So that's what a peer-reviewed study does. It eliminates a lot of these inaccurate or inadequate studies that have been done. Okay, it's also an antibacterial, antiviral, anti-inflammatory. It aids the immune system with all these different phytochemical compounds. So that's the astragalus. And the next one is the pear, the balsam pear. And this also protects the cells against any kind of free radical damage as a result of toxins and foreign invasive substances that are circulating in the body. And then it, let's see, It helps with normal cell reproduction, produces healthier cell membranes. Those cell membranes of ours are extremely important because those are the sites where the body determines what goes inside the cell or not, whether it rejects something and keeps it circulating, trying to eliminate it, or allows it to go inside the cell environment so that it can improve the functioning of the environment. Okay, and so let's see. It improves blood cholesterol. It cleanses the blood vessels. So anytime you've got something that's detoxing your body gently and daily, then you're going to be on top of the fact that your immune system is going to function better without all that junk in it, you know. So let's see, the bilberry, it's been known for helping the vision and help reduce cataracts, improves night blindness. So it really works on the optic nerve, prevents it from atrophying. So it's got all these different phytochemicals like the other plants do, and they're just so numerous to list here. But one of them is anthocyanins that they play a role in maintaining strong and flexible blood vessels and prevent atherosclerosis from blocking the blood vessels, stabilizes the DNA structures itself. The DNA also needs to be maintained too. It also has a structure which is made out of phosphorus and protein. So that's important as well. Then we've got the cranberry. How am I doing? Everybody okay? Still with me?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going super fast here.
I love it.
Cranberry, it helps the body excrete radioactive substances and heavy metals like lead and cobalt and cesium and strontium. Those are in our water. Those are all over the environment. So we have to be very careful not to allow us to be exposed to that. So I'd never recommend people drinking tap water for that reason. Anywhere in the world, our most pristine waters have been contaminated. So it's very important that we make sure that our water is filtered properly. Okay, so we also have plant sterols, and those are the precursors of hormone production. Our bodies produce 10,000 hormones every day, and these hormones, they help they communicate with the nervous system to start and stop our multiple trillions of bodily processes every single moment of our life. So lots going on in there. Then you've got things like phenolic acids. These are aromatic plant compounds that help lower cholesterol levels and help reduce the risk of heart disease. Gosh, I'm just skimming the surface here. So cranberry is, of course, people know cranberry as something that protects against the bacterial infections in the urinary tract, right? But it also does a lot of things like prevent stomach ulcers that are caused by the bacteria, the Helicobacter pylori bacteria that burrows itself into the stomach lining and creates ulcers there, which is why people find it very painful to eat when they have this bacteria there. And that's actually what causes ulcers. So the cranberry and the aloe will help repair those tissues and eliminate that bacteria. Then you've got the currant. It helps reduce harmful effects of radiation and produces promotes the elimination of toxins as well, such as the mercury and the cobalt and the lead. That's also very prevalent in our seafood. Our seafood are fatty fish in the oceans, and even when they're in these factories where they call those pools where they grow fish, you know, I forget what it's called. But yeah, I mean, the mercury levels actually grow and are concentrated because of what they feed the fish, you know, and so this is something that you want to watch out when you're eating your seafood. Actually, the northern waters are the least contaminated fish, those caught in cold Arctic waters like in the North Pole. So those are a lot safer to consume. But if you don't pay attention to that, if you're consuming things like I don't even eat fatty fish anymore because of this, the shrimps and the lobsters, you know, things like that. They also accumulate a lot of these toxic substances. So the currant is very good for helping eliminate those. Let's see, currant is used by medical systems throughout the world, like for hepatitis, anemia, tuberculosis, kidney disease, upper respiratory tract problems. It protects against the nervous system degeneration. It slows the cognitive decline and aging. So, you know, currant is also another little superfood out there. And we've got the husk tomato, the ground cherry. That's also an anti-inflammatory. and it helps inhibit inflammatory proteins like the cytokines that cause the white blood cells, the T cells, the macrophages to attack healthy tissues. And those T cells are important when they can recognize what's supposed to be destroyed in the body. But when you have autoimmune disease, then it doesn't know any better. So, you've got to pay attention to giving your body, your immune system, that DNA information from the right types of phytochemical compounds in these plants to make those corrections in the immune system. Okay, and it works on the regulation of fats and blood glucose levels and all that kind of thing. Then you have the olive, the European olive leaf. So the whole plant is actually so beneficial for so many things, but APL uses the leaf. And so in the leaf, research has shown that it is cardioprotective, anti-arrhythmic for the heart. If you're having, if your heart's not in the right rhythms, then it's going to correct that. Anti-inflammatory. It helps the body to determine when to lower your blood pressure and when to help normalize it. So all these phytochemicals really do a lot of communication, as you can see, with the whole body. So it knows what to do. Let's see, it also relieves spasms of smooth muscle, like the heart, and also the muscles in the blood vessels. Your blood vessels actually have little muscles that push along the blood in the bloodstream so that it circulates, it continues to circulate. Then we've got, let's see, the olive leaf also has been shown to improve various inflammatory conditions, preventing diabetes, diarrhea, intestinal parasites like dysentery, malaria, all these other infections, and it's very, very effective for that. And if you ever have food poisoning, olive oil is an excellent antimicrobial. It'll knock those things out, okay? That and a whole array of other antimicrobial remedies. As you know, you're seeing that a lot of these plants already do that. Let's see, it's also found to reduce dental plaque. All right, so the pomegranate seed, we're getting there. Let's see, the pomegranate seed, it has all these phytochemicals that have been found to lower blood pressure, improve the hemoglobin levels, and that is the part of the blood that carries oxygen and the iron-carrying part of the blood. So it reduces anemia. It's anti-parasitic, antibacterial, and it's known to reduce fever. Fever is caused by, invading pathogens that cause the immune system to detect something is wrong. And when the body elevates its fever, it's actually at a temperature that helps destroy these pathogens. So it also reduces LDL cholesterol, which is what's thought to be the bad cholesterol. It protects how your body utilizes fats in the blood. It keeps them from what's called peroxidation. So that means the deterioration of the molecules that are circulating, so then it will cause more free radicals in the body. So this is a lot of toxic byproducts that are damaging, like the aldehydes. They damage the blood vessels and they cause the atherosclerosis, or the hardening of the arteries and the blockages. So the pomegranate seed is a superfood when it comes to maintaining your blood circulation, getting those nutrients through, getting the oxygen through to all parts of your body, and getting those phytochemicals where they belong so that your immune system improves itself. All right, purple coneflower, or also known as echinacea. A lot of people drink the tea. It's known as the blood cleanser. It cleans the lymph system, all the little lymph nodes, where the glands are, and the filtration that will process a lot of these synthetic chemicals through. And so these little nodes sometimes get swollen because they can't push through all these synthetics and all of these organisms that are jamming up your other circulatory system, which is your lymph system. Okay, so it's also it's used for inflammation of the bladder, like urinary tract infections as well, or any kind of inflammation in the urinary tract, in the kidneys as well, and helps reduce inflammation of the liver. It's effective against candida yeast infections, ear infections, inflammation of the sinuses, hay fever, foot fungi. So all of these are microbes that challenge your immune system. So the echinacea is really good for attenuating that. And then also used for flu, bronchitis, tonsillitis, pneumonia, herpes. Again, these are all microbes that cause these problems. So if you have a supplement and your healthy diet that have plenty of these phytochemical compounds that destroy all of these microorganisms, then you won't have any problem. And if it does come around, then you can destroy it immediately and not even skip a beat. You know, I've had food poisoning a couple of times and I still did everything I had to do that day without even worrying about it. You know, you get a little nauseated, but once you have these kinds of phytochemicals in your body, then they're immediately destroyed, you know, so then you get right back to your regular speed very soon. Then you've got home flour also. Okay, I already mentioned all the, well, it's an antiviral against over 100 rhinoviruses of the common cold. So humans have been exposed to literally millions of viruses over time. And so our immune systems are so readily available to recognize them and act on them right away. And when we have things like the echinacea and all the other phytochemicals or the other botanicals, then a virus shouldn't be any worse than anything else. So that's why, you know, the common cold, it just comes and goes. Our immune system takes care of it. Okay, so then we've got the reishi mushroom. I love mushrooms. These, I love what they do, you know, and I like the way they taste, yeah, but they are one of the world's greatest group of superfoods you can ever imagine. They do everything under the sun for you. Again, it's an immune system booster, direct antimicrobial, all the microbes, viruses, you know, bacteria, fungi, parasites, all these things, the mushrooms, phytochemicals will just act on their own and just completely disable them. So they can't even replicate, they can't even function in the body. They just deteriorate and then your immune system eliminates them. So they're really cool. Also, they've been shown to prevent the development of tumors or help destroy the tumors and to help eliminate dead cells out of the body. The science is very abundant in all of this. You know, I'm not making any medical claims for these products. The science is very, very clear on what these compounds in these plants do for the body. And you've got the genetic instructions in these drops. You've got the information so that, you know, it can go to work and help your DNA improve all of its systems to also act on these microbes. So the reishi mushroom increases the concentration of oxygen in the blood. So anytime you have an oxygenated blood, whether you're doing deep breathing or you're taking in plants that will help increase the oxygen in your blood, then no microbe can live in that environment. They're all anaerobic. They hate oxygen. Okay, so that's another great thing about the mushroom. It improves blood circulation. It lowers cholesterol. You know, it helps your body utilize fats and regulates the glandular system. So it increases the rate at which your body functions. So your cells will be much more, they'll be much more efficient in how they process everything, helps produce energy production. So therefore boosting your stamina. So if you're going to be exercising, then, you know, the reishi mushroom is one of the excellent foods for that. All right, so one more, Tina, one more. We've got the rowan berry. It's shown to inhibit the growth of staph and E. coli bacteria, and those are some of the main culprits that cause a lot of problems, even in hospitals, you know, so they're really abundant in those concentrated areas. So I think the hospitals should always incorporate, you know, these kinds of things for their patients, and their jobs would be made a lot easier. I mean, they might even put them out of business, who knows? Okay, so all right, so then the rowan berry also has potent protections against cell damage caused by all these free radicals, you know, the molecules that are in your body that aren't supposed to be there and are stealing electrons, the negatively charged ions that even the drops contain and raw foods contain. So that's why it's important to take in all those kinds of foods and the drops so that you will have enough of these negatively charged particles to neutralize these very invasive type of synthetics and you know, anaerobic microbes that are always stealing, you know, from your cells. So also when your body produces these stress chemicals, and you've got things like reactive oxygen species known as ROS, the hydroxyl radical, the superoxide anion, the nitric oxide, and the lipid peroxidation when the foods that you take in that contain fats go rancid, you know, in the body. which affects the molecular, the way it reacts to oxygen. So all of these compounds help reduce all of these free radicals that the body produces on its own under stress and under attack from all these different things. So let's see. Yeah, and so all other things like atherosclerosis, hardening of the arteries, heart disease, cardiovascular disease, cancer. I mean, these plants have undergone extensive experimentation on how they affect all of these disease-causing problems, cardiovascular, heart disease, cancer, all of these different things. So the research is very, very intense about this, and I just cannot wait to share that kind of information in this book as some of you have it, and as I'm sure you have found. So that wraps it up for the GRW. But yeah, I'm all for questions, Tina.
So Mary Esther, I just have to say, based on everything you just said and all the ingredients and all the benefits, you would think that this nutritional supplement is the size of a basketball, but it's not. It's in this like teeny tiny little delicious lozenge that tastes like a grape lifesaver. How is that even possible that so much nutrition is packed into this tiny little drop?
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Okay, so we are colossal size compared to our cells. Compare one of our cells in our body, like say a blood cell or a bone cell or a nerve cell, and compare that to the size of the earth. That's how small nutrients are. So we can fit those into our cells. And so this drop, that's why it has to be dissolved, because it releases all those minute particles that are the stuff of life. It's hard to believe that we are colossal beings, but we have these microscopic size cells that do so many powerful things. They keep us alive. They produce body proteins. Our body's almost entirely all protein besides water and the sugars in it, and fats, but yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe how small those things actually provide so much life, because it's all happening at that size, that level. When we digest our foods, it's all reduced to that size. It's got to fit through those microcell membranes in order to keep us alive and do all the work that keeps us going.